y'all know I got my body-worn camera on and recording, okay?
Okay.
What happened today?
Well, she can tell you
Okay,
she
so
actually saw it.
yeah, so I was home with my 10-year-old son. I was sitting in one of the chairs in the garage,
Okay.
and I heard music. Didn't really think anything of it. I thought it was one of the neighbors, and then I could tell it was like rap, hip hop music. So then my son was kind of walking around here, and he came back and said, "Do you hear the music? You know, it's cuss words. It's saying F Trump." So I was like, "What?" So I come out because I'm like, "What neighbor's playing that?" And there was a silver car right behind.
Okay.
And literally, like, you would think that, is this a guest? Is this a friend? They weren't out in the road. They were literally pulled over. And so I'm listening, and sure enough, it's a rap song about, you know, F Trump, he's a racist, he's a pedophile, like blaring.
Okay.
And he's looking at our house, and then he's, I could tell it was a younger male and then a female on the passenger side because I saw her high ponytail. And, you know, just kind of being smart Alex about
Right.
it. Well, as soon as he saw me, you know, I had my phone like this because I was trying to look up him and his wife's numbers because I was going to call and say, "Hey, do you know these people?" Well, he saw me on my phone, so then he reversed and sped away.
Okay.
According to the camera, they were there for about approximately 5 minutes. That's
All right.
long enough to know you're being an idiot.
Right. And you
Well,
got, was that a Ring camera, I'm assuming, or something like
Yeah,
that?
I have a Ring.
Okay.
He's got a Ring
or
and I've got a
Nest.
better camera.
Okay.
And yeah, I sent him stills and we got the video in 15 minutes, 5 minutes or more with the car in question, which is parked next door.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why it's a bigger deal than just them blaring music is both of us now have been victims of them or not them, but someone destroying our signs in our yard.
Okay.
Stealing them, destroying them.
Right.
He's
4
had,
instances over 7 days.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and we had an alert out for that, so we've been driving
Oh.
through the area trying to make sure that nobody's out here
Yeah.
if they're not supposed to be.
Yeah. So then, you know, when he came home, I was telling him about it, and I said, well, and he even said, it has to be someone in our neighborhood because, you know, we're not on a main road.
Right.
So then he was like, well, I'm just going to drive around and see if I can see the silver vehicle, and sure enough, he did.
That's from his garage.
Okay.
So that's his SUV, and then it's that silver car back there.
Okay. I ran the vehicle's plate they gave me. It comes back.
Oh,
They're
so they
definitely
do
the
live
resident of that
Okay.
building. At least the two individuals that comes back to are older individuals. So if these were younger ones, it's probably a
Yeah, it's
niece
their
or nephew
kids
or great-grandchild or something like that, which is pretty standard for them.
Gotcha.
So I'll go over and make contact with them, see what I can do. Can I get your name and stuff real quick? Because if they're going to be absurd with me too, then I'll probably write an ordinance violations for disorderly conduct, and in my notes, without them seeing it, I'll put down that you were a victim of their disorderly conduct. Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
I have to let you know I got my body worn camera on, okay? It's called out here for neighborhood dispute, I guess. That's what I would call it.
What dispute?
Apparently somebody driving your vehicle, I'm not sure if it was you or somebody else, was parked over across the street, literally pulled over on the side of the road for several minutes, blaring a song, F Trump and all sorts of other stuff going on to it.
When was this?
It's on camera just a few moments ago.
Not our car, sir.
Yes, ma'am. They
Car
got that
hasn't
license
moved.
plate, and it's on two separate cameras between both
Our
residences.
car hasn't moved.
We haven't
sir.
moved this car all day.
All day. That's
We've
my
been,
car.
this is,
Sick.
she's sick
I have
today.
not moved this
She hasn't
car,
moved this car all day.
And those neighbors can vouch for that.
Those
sir.
neighbors have been moving and moving stuff out of that house all day.
Okay.
This car hasn't been any place all day.
All day. So I want to see this.
I would love to see video.
Look, I want to see this video because this car hasn't moved.
Okay.
I am sick.
Has there
and
been
I
an
have-
ongoing issue between you and the neighbors around the
No,
corner?
No.
I mean, everybody seems reasonable. I understand they have Trump
No.
signs. I see you guys having anyone but Trump, and that's everybody has a right to their opinion
No.
on both sides. But
I mean, other than us not liking their sign, they probably don't like our sign.
okay,
We've lived here. I've lived in this area for 29 years.
okay.
29 years. I've never had it. We're the only black people in this entire neighborhood. So if anybody should be scared, we should.
I want to know who said that car moved
That
anywhere.
car has not been anywhere, sir.
We
I
have
am
not
sick.
been, we have been good neighbors in this neighborhood for, she's been there for 29
Since
years, and I've lived here
1991.
for 26. And I want to know what neighbor
Sir.
of ours.
I understand you.
Say
I
it
don't,
that-
I don't actually
No.
understand why you're all
And
so upset
unless
right
you
now.
have seen the video.
I did see the video.
There's
okay.
my
There's
car
no
hasn't
way that
moved.
There's a
that-
vehicle that is it's
Sir.
almost that exact shape and size.
It
and
may
silver
be
in color,
someone
and they
else's
gave me the
car.
exact license plate.
It's because
They-
someone parked behind it
Yes,
and said that and could very easily have taken our license plate number off that car.
Our
But no
neighbors-
one, that car has not moved anywhere all day.
And our
Have you
neighbor
seen
came. Our
any
neighbor
cars
told
similar to your
us.
vehicle driving around the neighborhood blaring absurd
Who's
or
looking at
obscene
cars
music?
that look like our
No,
like ours?
I
Well, I mean, the
No,
music
no,
would be
no.
identifiable, though. Have you
No.
heard any loud music?
I haven't
such
at
a that
all. No.
throughout the day?
We tell you what we have seen. We have seen people drive slowly by our house.
To look
looking
at that
our
sign.
We have people stop and get out of their cars and take pictures of our sign. Our neighbor across the street called us about an hour ago and said a man in a gray truck was parked behind our car. You can take her statement. She said that he talked to her and said that a car drove by and was cussing about Trump, and he had children in the yard. And she said, I know that's not you guys because they know us. She said, I just wanted you to know. He said he was waiting for you to come out of your house. That's what he told her, that they were waiting for us to
Okay.
come out of, which is
I'm
very
assuming
threatening.
probably just to have a conversation because they're not.
He
They
should-
weren't threatening. at least when
Someone
I
could have
showed
come up
He
here and
should've-
knocked on
he
our
shouldn't
door.
have opened the door.
Which would have been more reasonable, but
If you-
we get that a lot. Honestly, a
if
lot of
you-
people don't want to talk. They don't want to have conversations with anybody anymore. They just call us out for
They
everything.
should come and
Well,
ask us.
So
because-
now we are parked while
Sir,
black. All right, so
okay.
nothing against you. But someone has now called the police.
And do you know how many
for that car being parked
silver-
on our street that we've lived on for 29 years.
And do you know how many silver Sonatas there are in this
There are
neighborhood?
probably quite a few.
So
I mean, just in this town, let alone this neighborhood, there's silver vehicles, sedans like that everywhere.
If he pulled up to our car and took a picture of my license plate, anybody can do that. But I'm telling you, sir, and they can verify this, they've been moving stuff out. Our neighbor died last year.
I'm sorry to hear that.
God bless her soul. These are her sisters from Nevada, Oklahoma, and Eureka, trying to clear out her house. We have lived across from our neighbor all these years. They know us. They know we help their sister. They've been very kind to us. We've been very kind to them. So that's why they took the time to call us and tell us, because they saw this man in this truck, said he was waiting for us to come outside. We didn't even know anything about it. I went down and got my husband. He went over there and talked to them. Please, sir, go over there and talk. They will tell you that that man pulled up behind my car. I haven't been anywhere today.
Okay.
I
I'll
have
go
my
over there.
doctor's papers in there. I have 4 health
Hey,
issues
honey, you don't need to
going
prove
on.
you don't
it.
have
I
to
have not
explain
been
anything
out
like
of
that.
this house.
I wanna
I'm
know-
just performing follow-up because they had the Ring camera, and it is a silver car just like that. You can't get the license plate from the Ring camera, obviously. because
Well,
it's on
they
the front
got
of
the
both their
license
vehicles.
plate. They got the license plate because somebody pulled behind that car and wrote it down,
Okay.
and then
He
gave that
said
to
here,
you.
He said here, but they said he sat behind our car and said to them that he was waiting for us to come out. The only reason that car is out there is because when I came back from the doctor yesterday, had groceries, I take him up. It's easier to take him up in the house because I never came back out because I've been sick and we didn't move the house and the
Well, I'll put
car
this
in the
area
house.
on extra patrol. We already have it as a standard extra patrol right now because there's been issues with other people with signs everywhere, but there's been issues for their residents, the across the street residents, and other residents.
We have not called the police
with
on them.
such like what you had with the signs. We've had people coming and removing them from their yards.
As offensive
Okay.
as we see that, as offensive as we see that, we have not called the police on
They
them.
have the First Amendment rights to have
They
whatever
can have
they
whatever
want.
the hell they want to have in their yard. When those people's yard sign was vandalized, I said, by God, who's out there ripping up signs in people's neighborhoods?
And the first thing I
not-
said was, I hope they don't blame us because we have an anti-Trump sign. But we've been here. We know every single one of our neighbors. Every single one of them. We know them by name. They know us. They can vouch to our integrity.
We work to
We
make sure
work-
that this is an inclusive community. So why someone would call the police on us because they thought that we would do something like yelling out anti-Trump shit
And
to those
playing loud
people?
music.
It was
We
the
don't
music.
do that.
They didn't say the individuals in the vehicle did it. They said just the music that was being played.
I don't
was,
even-
was
We don't have
very
have
vulgar.
those types of speakers. We
We
don't
wouldn't
play
do
that type of music. Why would we
What I would
want to
ask
do
then
anything
is
like
if you
that?
do see a car very similar to yours in the neighborhood playing music like that, if you could give us a call so then I can come out and maybe make contact with the individual that is doing that. Because there was a vehicle definitely very similar to yours parked over there for some time and it was playing music
Parked
such
in
like
front
that.
of their house.
Right across the street from the right in between, but it wasn't in the road. It was actually off the side of the roadway, right behind one of the residences' vans, as if they were like actually parked, like a guess.
And we know
And they were
these
blaring that
people.
music,
I can't even
so-
think of their names right now. They have
We've
two
actually
children,
met them.
and they walk with
They
their dogs.
they
have
walk
two
with the dogs and their kids
we
ride
just
their
spoke
bikes
to them
around
like
the corner.
2 weeks ago. We had a conversation when we were sitting here. It was before we had our sign. We knew they've had their sign all over the winter. We just got ours. We sat here and talked to them right here. They even know us. He could have come to the house. We've talked to them before. We talked to them about their dogs, their everything. So that
Well,
really
hopefully
hurts
there's no
my
more
feelings.
issues. Like I understand, and this is a very quiet neighborhood. And if you've been here for some time, I understand why you'd be so
29
upset.
years?
I would not like that if it happened to me as
I
well.
can
in my,
tell you
in my home.
every person in this block, every single one, they all know us and we all know them. We have get-togethers in our driveway to get to know our neighbors. We have goodbye wiener roast when people leave, when new people come. We have one to welcome people. We've always been the people in the block to reach out to make sure that everybody knows each other. When we've had these get-togethers, people living right next to each other said they've lived there for 25 years and didn't even know each other.
It's very common.
And we're the ones that bring people together. We try to bring people together.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. I am very happy to hear
And
that.
he's on.
We are hurt, and if it was those, I'm going over there to talk to them. Now you may want to be with me. I don't give a crap, okay? But
I think you should go there right now, but you need to calm down. And I can hardly even stand up. We need to talk to those people because we can't have this strife and misunderstanding.
Right.
And I don't want anybody thinking that I would ever do anything like that. They don't know me as a person. We know that we've introduced
And they said
ourselves
they
to
said
people.
that it was younger individuals, not saying, but they said it was
We
like
ain't
mid-30s
that
to
young.
the early 30s would be the individual. So
Well,
just
then-
as soon as I walked up, I didn't believe it was you two individuals.
Well, I'm
I
glad
wasn't sure
they
if
at
it was
least
like a
ID'd.
family member or somebody else driving
My
a
mother
vehicle or
lives
something
here.
like that.
She's 94. I'm 65 and he's 66. That's all that lives in this
our
house.
kids they don't live in town.
Okay.
So
We don't have any children here.
Okay.
they're not here.
We don't have anybody here.
Well,
If they saw that it was young people, they have
Right.
the wrong
Yeah.
car.
They believe it is younger individuals that we're doing.
And the only reason he pulls up here is because we have this sign and I have a silver car.
I'll go back over and talk with them.
If he took the license plate from the car thinking that it's this car, he's got the wrong car. I want my husband to go with you. Because we don't
I'd
want
be
any
perfectly
trouble.
fine to go over there and have a civil discussion with them. I just need to make sure that it is going to be civil.
You
I'm
have
go-
to calm
I mean, we can't
down.
be yelling at each other.
I'm not going to be yelling at anybody, but they're going to
You're
know
yelling
how
now.
hurt I am.
But you're yelling now. So you have to calm down because you're yelling. I'm not yelling. You're yelling. I'm in pain. I can't yell.
I'm very
I haven't
sorry
had
for
anything to
bringing this
eat
to you.
all day. I was drinking tea when you came. It's the first thing I put in my mouth today is some tea. I'm taking care of my mom. She's been living here 5.5 years. She's 94 years old.
And that's a huge
And
additional
I have
stressor
to
as
be
well.
healthy
Okay.
enough to take care of her.
Hey, calm down.
I don't want people blaming us for stuff.
Calm down.
If anybody should be scared, it should be us. We're the only black people that live in this entire subdivision. And we're the ones that have to be worried when our grandkids come. We have a 13-year-old grandson that comes to visit. And we have a bicycle for him in this garage. And we're scared that when he comes, we're scared for him to ride that bicycle.
Has there ever been any issues in this neighborhood?
No.
No,
But he's
until
13 now.
He's been
He's been a little kid.
He was born
Now-
at Broman Hospital.
Now he's a basketball player,
and
he's as
6
tall as
feet
me.
tall. And, he
And we
wears
are worried
hoodies.
about him. Because if he comes here and rides his bike,
With
as
his
he has
hoodie.
always done in this neighborhood from the time he was old enough to ride a bike, we are afraid that someone's going to call
Because
the cops
now
on
we
him.
let him take his backpack with his basketball, and he can go down the trail. He have friends that live in the subdivision over there. They meet at the park. He drives his bike to the park up here. And now when they put those signs, I told him, he comes, I can't let him ride his bike that way. Because I don't know if they'll say, who is that? We've never seen some black kid riding in the neighborhood and call, there's a suspicious looking black kid in the neighborhood. Well, yeah, there's no other black kids around here. And if they called him and you guys came up to him and asked him, where do you live? He wouldn't even know it.
He'd freeze.
He wouldn't
He's
even know what to
13.
say. And if you said, well, what are you doing here? And if he said something like, if he managed to say, I'm visiting my Momo and my Popo, that's what he calls us. Well, what's your address? What's their address? All he would do would be point. He
Right.
would not have it memorized. He doesn't know our exact
Right.
address.
Well, I would vouch. I would have to say something for us on that behalf. If they did get called out, I would hope to understand that that officer coming out would be reasonable. And the majority of our officers are juvenile trained officers. So most of us are. I have a very strong passion for. I'm a foster parent for dealing with juveniles and adolescents. So I would like to think that any of our officers that come out would
Well,
handle
we
that
pray so.
with respect and keep him calm and
What's your name?
comfortable.
Daru?
Officer Deru. Yes, ma'am.
Daru. Okay.
We appreciate you coming, and I'm getting ready to ride with you over here,
Alrighty.
and I promise to be calm.
But you're not calm yet.
I'm going to be calm when I get over.
You have to be calm.
Trust me.
Because
will be
we
calm.
want this to be a situation that when
This is going to be a learn.
when
What?
Officer Daru leaves, we still live here and he still lives there. We have to have it left that we have peace in this
I'm
neighborhood.
10-4. I'll be a.
I can take care of it.
Make sure all my stuff's out of your way.
I'm looking at your
I will.
nonverbal.
I will.
You're very welcome, ma'am. Alright, mind your elbows, there's not a ton of space.
Okay.
May I use your driveway to turn around here?
Sure, absolutely. My wife used to live in this duplex, and we bought this house 6 years after we got married in 2000. We lived in this house for 20 years, but my wife has lived here since 1991. And this is the first time I've ever ridden in a police car. And this is the first time a police car has ever pulled up in front of my house.
Well, on a good note for that, we do, I'm not sure if you're interested at all, but we do like a ride along, like especially through the city and through like the safety board. We actually enjoy when individuals come with us for a ride along, so then they can sit
Yep.
through a few hours of shift and they can see call sets like this that we go out to quite a few times throughout our shift. Hello, y'all. He's the individual that owns that vehicle, and he's the man that lives.
We know you guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why would anyone think that me or my wife would have driven up to yell at you or your children?
Oh, we know it wasn't.
No.
We know it wasn't you. There was someone. There was younger teenagers in there.
We have no teenagers at our house.
Oh.
We have grown children that live in. No young people would be in our car,
Okay.
nor would they drive around with loud music. I've lived in this neighborhood since 1994. My wife has lived in this neighborhood since 1991. We have never had the police come to our house. We are the only black people in this entire neighborhood.
Okay, you can stop
No,
there.
no,
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 you're not.
stop.
No, you're not.
No.
Well,
Nope. We
Nope,
have
you're not.
friends that are our
Hey,
neighbors right there.
Officer,
that are
you could
black.
ask him to leave because I'm not going to listen
It's
to
not
you.
racist.
Sir,
what
I don't
I'm
need to hear
saying
that.
is,
See
what I'm
ya.
saying to you is,
Sir,
I
I'm
have
asking
never
Sir, we need to
had,
attempt this at
I
another
have
time.
never
Okay.
had anyone
Goodbye.
call the police.
Please do not talk
on
about
me.
color.
Yep.
Why?
That has nothing to do with it.
This
Officer,
to end it,
officer,
officer.
leave.
Because
let's go
because
Okay.
Because
I will make
obviously,
you leave,
Sir,
bud.
come on. I'm gonna
I'm
get
telling
him. Oh, okay.
That's
All-
insulting.
is
I get
is
it.
that
They don't want to talk about race, so let's
all right?
go. Okay.
I understand that.
All right.
Officer, thank you so much for coming and having a calm conversation at my house.
Well, you don't come into our property and talk about color like that. That's disrespectful.
Okay.
And I'm sorry because I'm going to get real
So
upset.
you can see that that car is a striking resemblance of the
It
one
is a
sitting out in front of
I
his
don't
house.
care about the house.
It's got the same rims, the same everything.
We have had
There is a striking
And
that's
resemblance
what I
to
told
that
them.
vehicle.
And I asked, come over here with you.
Well, it's like we're
Because she has several medical issues, so she couldn't come over, and she's caretaking for a 94-year-old mother at the time too. I asked them if they see a vehicle, because there are probably thousands of vehicles like that,
Right.
and I can't zoom in or get a license plate off that. So I asked them if they see anybody else in the area matching the car, fitting the description, or playing music like that, for them to call it, because they've also had individuals stop over at their house. He has the traverse of your signs, but they've had several individuals stop at their house and get out and actually take pictures, and they haven't vandalized their signs yet, but they've been having the same kind of issues with their sign as well. So I asked them to reach out to us as well if they see anybody in the neighborhood matching. If you see another vehicle like that, even if it's speeding through blaring music like that, give us a call out. We always have at least 2 officers assigned to the east side. If they're close enough, they may be able to actually get the car with the music on in the neighborhood or in the region with no reason to be in the region.
Well, and I'm listening to him talk. He's acting like we said for sure it was him and his wife.
And I told them that you stated that it was younger individuals, so I told them I didn't believe, and I don't believe you believe that it was them.
Right.
But they're taking offense to it because their vehicle was singled out.
I'm not going to come back on your property. What I'm saying is that
Is that not a striking resemblance of the car that's parked out in front of your house?
it's similar.
And the license plate has three digits, a space, and then 4 digits. That's
Well-
the exact license plate that's on your vehicle.
Was that the vehicle that drove past this house?
Yeah, it was sitting in our, it was,
That's video. That's
our
camera sitting
van.
right behind that
yeah,
van.
it's our van right there.
Wasn't my car.
I'm,
The only time I have stopped on this street is to pull up to her driveway to say hello to her.
Well, you've stopped
There's
here
no
and talked to us, too.
I've stopped
I
and
get it.
spoken to you guys.
I get it.
I've waved at you and you walked past my house and we've spoken to you while you walk your dog.
Yeah.
Why would anyone think that we would be the ones that would come over here to speak to you, to speak to you about your truck?
Hold on. I never said that it was him and his wife that were in that vehicle. Never once said it.
But the
Never once
police,
said it.
But the police were called to
Because
my
that
house.
car had a striking resemblance of the one that was sitting right
say
there.
it was for you for sure. We said that's the same car.
That's it.
That's and it's the same kind of car.
I would
and it was
I would
just
expect, just like mine, pulled up in front of your house and was blaring some racist crap, and you would call the police, and because you would drive by and go, man, that looks just like the truck. It had the same sticker, same everything. I would expect you to call this man and say, hey, I think it could have been that truck. And then he can come talk to me and we can figure it out.
The reason why I'm here, reason why I'm here,
Okay.
is because this officer came to do his duty.
Mhm.
I work with the police. My wife has been not in our school and not in our town for years. We have had cookouts in our driveway, welcoming neighbors who have moved onto the street. We haven't had one in quite some time because my 94-year-old mother-in-law lives with us. We haven't had the cookouts that we used to have. If we had, we would have invited you guys as new people to the neighborhood and our new neighbors over there, as well as these folks over here, to a hot dog cookout in our driveway. But we haven't had that in quite some time because of my 94-year-old mother-in-law who lives with us.
Okay.
We have grown children who live in Missouri, Tennessee, and New York.
Okay.
Why does any of this matter? We've been in this neighborhood since, my wife has been here since 1991, and I've been in it since 1994. We have been good neighbors.
Okay.
And not one time have the police showed up at my house. Not
Okay.
one time.
But
Well,
that,
hold
it's
on,
not a
hold on.
personal thing.
I've
we
been
thought
here-
it was a car in front of your house that they drove by and stopped, and I even saw that it was two white teenagers.
Someone could have come and knocked on my door and asked, was that your car that was parked in front
We
of my
have
house?
always been told when there's an issue, you call the cops. Don't handle
Okay.
it yourself because then it could cause trouble.
I understand that.
But I did not say, hey, it was him and his wife in the car. We did not say that.
Here's the deal.
She actually said it
It
looked
was
like
two white teenagers.
Okay.
So
Here's
I
the
didn't
deal.
know it could have been grandkids.
If
I
you
don't know
got-
who lives
could
with
have
you
been
guys.
friends of
If
somebody.
you guys have an issue with my wife, me, come knock on our door. We don't need the police to settle any dispute.
Well, the only thing
in
I
this
say is
neighborhood.
your neighbor must not know you very well, because when I asked the neighbor,
Those people.
I said, no idea whose car that is.
So here's the backstory on that. 25 years, passed away in September. Those are her sisters from Eureka, from Oklahoma, and from Nevada, who are there to clean out her house.
Okay, but I don't
They
know. any of
don't
that,
know. They don't know from anybody else's car.
and I don't either.
Okay, so the point is that when whoever drove over there and asked who they were,
It was me.
She didn't know that.
I didn't say I don't even live here.
Yeah,
But
she just said I don't
She
know.
just said I don't
She-
know whose car that is.
You wouldn't know that she doesn't live
But
there.
she could say it.
Well, she did.
Okay, the
Okay,
point.
that's all beside the point.
Yeah, so is color of skin. We won't get into
But
that
we did.
one.
But hold on, we did not call the cops to say you and your wife did something wrong. We just said we have on two different cameras the type of vehicle, and then we saw the same kind of vehicle, same color in front of your house, and then it has all these anti-Trump stickers. So it must have been just a coincidence. But we did not say it was 100% for them, like them. And I even told him it looked like two white teenagers in the vehicle. They had their windows down, blaring rap, anti-Trump music, laughing. And they were parked
They were there
for 5 minutes.
over 5 minutes.
Okay, so now you know it's not us in our vehicle.
Right.
And now you know that we don't have any young people who live here in Bloomington that would be harassing you or your neighbor across the street.
I'm glad it
I
wasn't
don't.
you, honestly.
I do not care. I do not care. While I have different political views than you, I support the fact that you have whatever you want to have in your yard. When their yard was vandalized and the sign was torn up over there, I was the first one that told my wife, my God, somebody went over there and ripped up their sign, and that really pisses me off because we've had a sign removed from our yard in the past, and I don't think that's anybody else's responsibility or business what I have in my yard. It's not my business what you have in your yard. I think you should support the people that you support, but I'm going to support the people that I support. I'm also not going to be someone who's going to pull in front of your house and yell at you because of what your political views are. What I'm going to do is take my views out at the ballot box, and that's what I do. When I hold conversations with the police and facilitate opportunities for the community to talk to themselves and the police, I encourage people from different political views to have conversations,
Well, it's good
not yelling at each other.
It's good to finally meet somebody. Bless you.
And I'm not saying that my application was any better than yours.
I feel good
All
with
I'm
you. I'm like a level-headed individual.
I
and,
am a level-headed individual, and that's one of the reasons why. Because I tried to facilitate open conversation with individuals from different backgrounds. I've been doing that my entire life.
I put stick
Doing
trampoline
that
for him.
her entire life, trying to get people who are. She was a being the only African American. She ended up talking to and being a mentor for many who did not know how to deal with the cultural differences that exist between people. She was that conduit.
Been there, done that.
I have tried to be that conduit wherever I've been, whether it was so you will understand why I'm a little passionate about the fact that when the police show up at my house, it's like, oh my God, what has this world come to?
Can you
So-
understand though why I have this one and one sleeping?
Absolutely,
And
I
when my
understand.
signs have been destroyed 3 times and then a car sits in front of my house?
I understand that, and I would be upset as well. I
This
have
is my priority. I
have-
don't give 2 shits
Let
who
me
gets
say it like
elected.
this.
This is my priority.
With what's going on in this country right now, with as divided as the country is, and all of the politics that goes with that, I have a 13-year-old grandson. He comes to visit us, and he actually came home from the hospital to my house. He used to be a little small kid. He was these kids' age. And he would ride his bicycle around, and nobody gave a crap, okay, because he's just a little kid. Now, he's 13. He's as tall as I am. And now, if he rides his bicycle around, somebody might say, wow, there's a kid that's riding around the neighborhood I don't recognize. So what do people do? They call the cops. My 13-year-old grandson could be one of the kids that, okay, it scares the crap out of me. I'm not afraid for myself. I am afraid for my 13-year-old grandson.
Do you really think that would happen in this neighborhood, though? Because there's 3 black...
Yes, I do.
Listen.
And the reason
Can
why
you
is
stop for a
because he's a
minute?
stranger.
Well, maybe, but
Well,
there
it's
are
'cause
3
all white
black
people
kids
are
that live around all the time. Their white parents adopted them. They're all 3 black. They ride around all the time, and nobody questions anything because of the color of their skin. I'm really getting insulted by that.
You might not. You might not.
What does it
You might
matter
not.
what the color of your grandson's skin is? Just because he's riding a bike doesn't mean anything. He's not hurting anybody.
Watch TV.
But
Oh, I
this
do.
is Bloomington,
And
and
it's
I do believe in other areas there are, but I don't think here there
And
are.
I happen to agree with you that here in Bloomington, we have not had the issues that have happened in other areas. But there are people here that live here in Bloomington, and I'm not assuming who they are, that probably would call the police on my grandson.
I'd be more scared to send him to the south side of Chicago and get shot.
I
by
grew
other
up on the
black
south
people.
side of Chicago, so I
So
know
the black on black
I-
violence doesn't
that-
matter?
we're not talking about black.
We're
on
not
black
talking
crime.
anymore because
We're
all
not
you want to talk about is skin color. Goodbye. Go home. See ya.
Okay. Okay. I've lived there since 1994. Okay? You're welcome to come by my house and have a cup of coffee anytime. You are too, for that matter. We have always had our house open to anybody who wanted to stop by to say hello. You guys have walked past us and we've spoken to you. We speak to everybody that comes around this street. So you can understand why I'm a little upset.
But you're taking it as if we were targeting you, and we weren't. It matched the vehicle, and they drove this way when they left. And so, but
I would be upset
I never
too.
once said it was the guy that him and his wife that we've talked to many of times. It was him.
I would be upset too
We
if
just
someone,
thought it was your vehicle that someone else was driving.
not our vehicle.
And I apologize, but we did
thank
not
you.
call and say it was definitely. Truly thought it was that vehicle, and it was
Well, we
parked
thank-
on the street, so
thank
we didn't know you owned it.
Well,
Honestly, we did not know you owned
the
it.
only
He
reason
told us that you
normally
did.
we park in the garage. They came in. She bought groceries. She brings them up the front stairs because it's easier. Don't have to go up 2 flights of stairs. So she parked in the front. Okay. Normally we park in the garage or in our driveway. So the fact that we're parking on our street, which anybody else can do, it's like, okay, why are we being targeted? And maybe, I don't know. So
Well, it was truly an honest mistake. It wasn't, oh, we thought it was definitely you.
Well,
we know it's you.
okay, well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, sorry for having to meet under these conditions.
Yeah, it is a shame. It is a shame. My wife was worried that I would come over here and lose my temper. I haven't lost my temper. All I've done is express my views, and that's all I care about. That's all I care about. And I'm sorry that you guys believe that this is a racial issue. As sensitive as we are in this country right now, with what's going on in here, everything is made to be a black or a white, or blue or red, or some other type of issue that it really doesn't have to be. Neighbors can talk to neighbors. We've been neighbors in this neighborhood for over almost 30 years. Anybody can come and knock on our door and have a conversation with us. Anybody. And it doesn't matter whether you're black, white, or green.
Right.
And it doesn't matter whether you have a Trump sign in your yard or anybody else's sign in your yard. I just don't care. When it comes to individuals, we are all individuals, and we all have children to raise and groceries to buy. And that's all it really matters. That's all it matters.
I concur.
Thank you for listening to me.
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks. Sorry
All right,
again.
Thank you.
Right back, or you can walk?
No, I'll walk back.
All
Thank
right.
you, officer. I
No problem.
appreciate it.
Have
All
a
right.
good day.
Thank you. You too.
Look in on that ride-along program if you
I will.
care to, and let them know. Haven't had any in quite some time, but there used to be a full course that they did, and people would come and ride with us to see what we go through every day.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. I left stickers for the littles.
Oh, thank you.
Keep your head open, or your eyes open, your head's up. If you see the car again, I'll come through regardless. And if there's continued issues, I'll come back again with them.
I tried.
And sorry that it seemed like we were
I
trying
tried.
to accuse them.
No, I mean, I told him. I didn't really even get a chance to really discuss very much when I first walked up, because he immediately started going on the defensive. But eventually I got to the portion of actually being able to try to have an open dialogue, and I told him that they don't believe that it was you. I said, I'm not trying to offend you, but they believe that it was much younger individuals in the vehicle. So,
I know for sure it was younger kids, because he even looked at me and was like laughing. The kid was. So like, for even when you came up and said, you know, you ran the plates, it's an older couple that own it, I even said they weren't the ones driving it.
And for
But-
him to say, I should have went up to his door and knocked on it. You even agreed.